Yeah. Okay, it is my great pleasure to introduce Geo Sung Kim, who is a Korean and world anti-corruption champion, in my view, and Geo Sung has been on the Transparency International board. He's acted at high levels in the Korean public service, and he has fought for social justice for all his life. Geo Sung was one of the five-member panel, expert panel, looking at how Taiwan has performed against the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. Geo Sung, I've got questions to ask. My first question is, what do you think the main corruption issues are, either in the world or in Asia Pacific?
Yep. Firstly, I'd like to mention that I'm not a champion in this field. There are so many important activists in my country as well as in the world. Thus, I'm saying just I'm colleague of them, one of colleagues of them. Yeah, and it is my great pleasure to meet you, all of you, from this channel. For me, the most important problem in corruption is not a small bribery. Mostly, people say, bribery is decreasing in the world, especially some developed countries. We cannot see daily bribery for the officials or on the street. Traffic officers, police officers are not getting bribes. However, there are severe problems, serious problems in each part of the world. In Bahasa Indonesia, for example, they are saying korupsi, kolusi, nepotisme. It means corruption, collusion, and nepotism. They are working together. And it is not easy to catch the problem. And it is difficult to specify where, when, who did the wrong thing, and how. Thus, it is not easy to catch or prosecute the corrupt actors. Thus, in my mind, the most important thing is to proactively fight against that kind of disease. So-called policy capture is very rampant in everywhere in the world. But I don't know how many cases of policy captures were prosecuted. Nothing, nearly nothing. And even we are saying state capture. However, those things are a kind of legalized corruption, systemic corruption. Thus, in my mind, the problem is not only small bribes, but also corruption by system. And for example, state capture and pardon by the president in some cases, and sex exploitation, and so many tours in my country. We the people were suffered by so-called MRG programs, minimum revenue guarantees. They are using some manipulated reports to get people's tax. That's the major problem. Thus, we have to concentrate our efforts to overcome this kind of big disease.
Wow, thank you. And so there are, with all these problems and with the rise of authoritarian regimes and populism and the problems we're seeing, do you feel a sense of hope? Where is the hope and where is the good elements?
Unfortunately, my country is suffering from that disease. I believe the ground of hope can be driven from anti-corruption education. Not only anti-corruption itself, but we have to include anti-corruption and other major parts, human rights and equality and respect for others. Thus, we are saying in Korea, democratic leadership education is essential. Not only just skills or technologies, but also it is very, very important to emphasize the importance of democratic leadership. We can live together without corruption, without human rights violation, and those things can be the whole ground of hope for the future, and at the same time sustainability of democracy in the world, in each country as well.
Thank you. That's really wonderful. The last thing we were just wanting to, because we've been working for the last week on the with Taiwan, watching Taiwan talk to us and learning from civil society. What are your main takeaways? What are the sort of learnings you've come from this particular week?
Yeah, as in other countries, civil society organizations criticized some weak points of the government activities. One main point is about whistleblower protection. In addition to that, there are so many weak points, and the participation of civil society is thus very, very important. In other words, it can be translated into like this. Political leadership is important. But in some cases, we can find some lip services, just only by saying, anti-corruption is important. But the final result should explain their real political leadership in anti-corruption field. Thus, I think we could find good lessons from this course. Thus, I'd like to share this kind of lesson to Taiwanese people, at the same time for my country and other part of the world.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, yeah.
Thank
and
you.
thank you.